In this video, I want to take a look at the WP E-Commerce shopping cart itself. Now, part of the reason we haven't seen the shopping cart itself is if we go to presentation here, I stuck with the default setting here, shopping cart settings here. The default setting is widget. In other words, we're only going to display the cart using a widget. And then on top of that, my products page in this theme has no sidebar, so there would be no way to see the shopping cart right now. So this is the 2011 theme with WordPress. Yours may do the same. Pages by default may not have a sidebar. So first thing we need to do is let's go in here and we're going to change our products page. So hopefully your theme has this too, a sidebar template, allowing us to have a widget area over on the side here. In our shopping cart settings here, we'll just leave this on widget. And if I go over to widgets now, I go to appearance and widgets, you're going to notice, in fact, there are a number of widgets created by WP E-Commerce, like latest products, price range, product donations. We'll go into those in another video, but here's the shopping cart widget. So I drag it up here. There we go. We'll put it in our sidebar there. We'll just leave the title as shopping cart and we'll save that. Remember, we switched our products page to now have a sidebar. I'm going to resend this information. There we go. We have a shopping cart. Right now it's empty, but it's over on our widget area there. Now this is the recommended one by default that they tell us to use. So let's try it. Let's see how it works. I'm going to get a big blue platter here. I'm going to add to cart. Notice the little message up here, you just added it. That's very handy. The only thing is it goes by pretty fast, and there's no way to change the speed of it. I mean, unless you went into the plugin files and changed it. But I find it a little quick, again, depending on your theme and the way things come up on your page. By the time you scroll to see your shopping cart, you might have missed that message possibly. That's just a minor issue. On here, when we've got the shopping cart in the sidebar, my real only option, I can't change quantity, but my option here is to remove the item. That's a minus symbol, by the way, a bit tiny for my eyes, but there we go. It removes the product, and there we go. We have an empty cart. All right, so that's using the default shopping cart over on the sidebar. Let's actually go remove that right now. And I'm going to go over to my store settings, and let's switch it to page. Okay. Now, what I would expect to see when I switch that over to page, I would expect to see WP E-Commerce creating a page here called shopping cart or cart. That's typically what other plugins do, but there's nothing here. So what it means actually is that it adds it to the product page. When it says page, this is what it means right here. Add it to the top of the products page, which I find a little bit inconvenient myself, just because, A, people aren't expecting to see it there. I think that's why they recommend putting it on the sidebar, is people do expect to see things in the sidebar potentially, but they don't expect to see it on the products page. And especially on your menu, for example, it would be nice to see something that says cart, right? But right now, you'd have to remember to go to products page in order to see your shopping cart. Plus, amongst other things, as you add to the shopping cart, it starts to push the page down. Let's put in a red platter this time. We'll add to cart. See how it's pushing things down? Let me add another product here. I'm going to add a small blue flower plate. I come up to the top. Again, remember that message disappears quickly by the time I scroll back up to see it. Notice here, just because of the way this is structured, these are quite tall, so they're pushing things down. They don't have an image. Remember, they didn't have one on the sidebar either in the cart. This one also doesn't contain an image, which I think is helpful to people. Oddly enough, it's in the checkout, but not in the shopping cart. All right, so let's go to checkout just for a moment. There's the images there. Now that's interesting. It's got the shopping cart at the top of the checkout page. That's very interesting. I'm not sure why they've done that. So now we've got an even longer checkout page. I see why they're saying keep it in the widget, right? This is kind of weird to have the shopping cart in the checkout page. So I thought to myself, well, they have another setting here called manual. See, we've got page, widget. Drop shop is an add-on. It's a premium extension. Manual here. Well, if we were to switch to manual, it does give us the code here, but that's a PHP code. That's a template code to go in a theme file. All right. Now, a lot of people don't want to be involved with that. Shortcodes is typically what you would want to use, but when you go to the shortcodes page on their documentation, what you'll find is there's a shortcode to create a products page, and we know that. Then there's a shopping cart shortcode, but it turns out that's for displaying the checkout page, which again is created by default by WP E-Commerce. But you scroll through and there is no way to do a shortcode to create your own page manually for a shopping cart. So it's a little bit odd the way they've done things, and I see why they recommend keeping it as a widget for your shopping cart within WP E-Commerce.